Hi there, Michelle G here, Bendy, Stitchy. My pronouns are she, her. Today is November 9th. It's been about a month since I've seen you. Last time I filmed was October 12th. I've been busy. I've been busy doing a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stitching, but I have got 88 boot camps under my belt with Burn, so I am feeling impeccable lately. Super strong, feeling very fit. Who knew that like in 3.5 months I could go from feeling like sleepy in the afternoon. This is not a plug. I'm just really enjoying myself. And then so much sports ball. So much sports ball lately, in fact, Rosie sports ball, not mine, that I have renamed my Memories of Juno shawl into my sports ball shawl because it has a fun ring to it, and because I knit on it during away tournaments, practices, road trips to and from games. It's really fun. So let's get into it. Not so bad since the last time. So my previous standard amount of stitches that I put out prior to starting working out again and all the sports ball was about 15,000 a month. And in the last 3 weeks, I've put in 4,123 stitches, give or take. Thank you so much, Notion. If you use Notion and you want the Flosstube planner or the cross stitch template, the Stitchery template, it's Stitchy Nutty, and I'll link that below. For about 4,123 stitches, give or take my counting mistakes, and about 15 stitching days, so every other day or so. I'm happy with that right now. For about 36 hours, 35 hours and 54 minutes, give or take. I did just find, I've been looking for, because for my knitting, I only count time, I don't count stitches. But since I play Stitching Monopoly, they actually have a conversion chart. So it's like 2 back stitches equals 1 cross stitch, 5 drills for diamond painting equals 1 cross stitch, and they say 5 pull throughs for knitting equals 1 cross stitch. So I might start trying to count my knitting again in terms of that. We'll see. I kind of like just letting the timer run on the knitting, but a couple things that I meant to show you a few Flosstubes ago and just plumb forgot. I have 2 fully finished items that I didn't show, and I am wicked proud of both of these. First of all, the framing is beautiful, and second of all, Acorns held on to these for like a year before I finally got around to getting them, so thank you, Acorns. This is We Live in Hope from Blackbird Designs. This is frame done at Acorns and Threads, framing and stretching, and they put something behind it, so like it's a little cushy and poofy, and I love it. Super light, which is nice for the stitching. Nice back. This is my own conversion, so this is absolutely uncalled for colors. I built everything around this light blue. This is I think it's called Sapphire. It's from Almond M&Ms, and I know like this is, I think the dark blue and the brown might be Gloriana silk, maybe. I know this green and this pink and this burgundy and this light color are all cotton. So this is a mix of silk and cotton. I also stuck these diamondy sparkly things on here. Those came in a Stitchy box that I was like, they look good there, so throw them on. We did make some changes. So this is the 2 Martini Resist Stitch conversion of this. So the first change that we made was it used to just say We Live in Hope, and then there was like another basket down here. And Alicia, Resist Stitch, said something like, I want to stitch it, but we can't just live in hope. We have to do the work, right? So I was like, oh, let me make that say that. So first it said, we live in hope, we do the work. And it was the Resist Stitch version. And then while we were stitching on this, 2 Martini Stitcher, Alicia Resist Stitch, Erin 2 Martini Stitcher, Alicia Resist Stitch, and myself, Desmond Tutu passed away. And Erin said, I really want to stitch a Desmond Tutu quote. And I said, oh, I have charting software. And so Erin sent me this quote, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. And so I replaced, this was an alphabet, the first 2 lines. And then this said like Chesapeake Bay, and it had Barb's B. Adams. So I used the alphabet that was on there, and I just made words with it. And so this is the 2 Martini Resist Stitch conversion. If you would like this conversion, I think I still have it. So holler at me down in the comments. You will need the chart because the only thing I charted out was this and that section. So you'll need the chart. So I can send you what I have, but it's not enough to finish the whole thing, which would be inappropriate anyway, right? I can't send you a pattern unless you have the regular pattern. But let me know if you want to stitch this. Acorns did an impeccable job framing this. I love this frame. I don't know why, but this frame reminds me of my grandpa's house. Is that funny? The more I look at it, the more I think he had a coffee table that looked like this, like from the 70s. This frame also made me think of like ship, like old wood that would be on a ship or something. So that was the first one that Acorns framed that I haven't showed you. I've had that for, God, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months. I don't know. Time has been very wibbly wobbly lately. And this is my next one that Acorns framed. See, nice back. And this one I'm so proud of. And I'm about to send them another one to frame because I want all of my shaded stitcheries to be in this frame. This is this Juneteenth day. How much do you love that? I love this frame. I love this piece. I love this frame. This is on a 40, oh, the other one was on like a Lakeside linen, I think. A 40 count Lakeside linen. This one is on a piece of 48 count mushroom Lugana. I think so. Well, I think so. From Silkweaver. I know it's from Silkweaver because there's a little blue spot over here that it was a flaw in the fabric, but I don't care. And this, again, is all the called for colors, except this blue is a Stitchy Box Silk rather than the called for DMC. I love this piece. I have never stitched manacles onto a sampler before. Every piece of this is meaningful, and Nuri has an explanation. This is my Nuri of Shaded Stitchery. Nuri has an explanation of every bit of this that comes with a chart. Like, these are boats. I don't remember it all, but this was a fantastic stitch. So much fun. Beautiful. I don't think I've ever had more fun stitching numbers than these numbers. These are probably the best designed numbers I've ever stitched. I just remember, out of all the stitching on this, I remember very distinctly loving stitching those letters. Loved it. And then this frame, I feel like, is perfect for it with the beads and then just the plain. The frame looks black, but it's not. It's definitely more of a 3371, which is the same as all this brown in here. And then, because I have this, I will be sending this to Acorns and Threads to be framed in the same frame. So I'm going to put this one down and we'll talk about this one now. And now I can probably finally hang those up on my wall somewhere. So this is Taking Up Space. This is also a design by Shaded Stitchery. I just finished, this is a brand new finish for this Flosstube. I finished this, let me see, don't tell me. I started it June 19th, 2024 for Juneteenth. This was, I think this was Nuri's third Juneteenth sampler. So this Juneteenth day was the first one. The second one was the one with the two urns that are pouring into a waterfall. Someone's going to tell me in the chat what that's called. And then this was the third one. Again, obsessed. I did make 2 substitutions. So this calls for 3371 and Veerland from Roxy Floss Co. I didn't have Veerland. So the pattern says if you don't have Veerland, just use 3371. The second Juneteenth sampler was the Freedom Motif sampler. Thanks, Nati. And then I couldn't find my 3865 for this off-white, so I just used a silk. I think it's an almond M&M's silk because I had it. And this is stitched on, I believe this is 36 count Mabon linen. It was in a Fox and Rabbit fabric of the month. But I love this so much. It was so much fun to stitch. And again, all of these motifs have an explanation in the pattern. So when you get the PDF, you don't just get the chart, you get an explanation of what it is. You get like a map of the chart. So it was so much fun to stitch. It was a lot of color changes, but the back, actually, I'm kind of obsessed with the back because in certain spots, like down here, because I carried my thread, it made almost like a weave on the fabric. And this too, like almost kind of a weave. This one I shouldn't probably have carried that far, but whatever. And here. So I really like the way that the back looks, almost as much as I like the way that the front looks. But very proud of this. Started at June 19th, 2024, finished at October 26th, 2025. Spent about 15 stitching days and about 30 hours and 45 minutes. I love Notion. So that was my finish. And then I worked on a lot of whips. So we'll just take it in the order that it's on this page so that I can talk about it. I didn't mean to do that. I clicked the wrong thing. It's been a minute. I'm in a little bit of a different season of my life than I have been previously with stitching, and I think that's okay. Like, it took me a while to figure out that that was okay, but the next one that I worked on, this is the Walk Fast Sampler, and it's from Lindy Stitches. It's a Betty White quote. You can lead a herring to water, but you have to walk fast or he'll die. The quote is actually, you can lead a herring to water, but you'll have to walk really fast. I think so. But you'll have to walk really fast or he'll die. And I think if I take out this little walker person here, I can fit U''LL, have to walk, and then really fast on the last line. So I am going to rechart that quote just because I am who I am. So this I started on December 31st, 2021. It was my last start of that year, and it was in honor of Betty White's death, I think. The last time I worked on this, it was for Monopoly. So this is absolutely none of the called for colors. You can see, because this, I worked here. And I didn't really like this color. So the color is here in this hanging motif, and then it's all in the border. So I kind of tried to stay true to most of these colors, and then I picked a border color that I liked and I thought would go with it. So it's hard to see on camera, but I picked this like periwinkle blue, and I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of, what do I have in here? I don't even know what flosses I have in here. I have some color and cotton. I have some fiber on a whim, when they dyed flosses. I have some hand dyed by Rolanda. I have some Gentle Art limited edition. So it's really just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm not very far on this. This is a really big sampler, and I am not very far. I have a little bit more to go of the leash before I get to the herring. I'm just kind of slowly chipping away. I don't know why this doesn't call to me as much. It's not the fabric. I love this fabric. It's on, what is it on? I don't even know. Oh, this is 40 count shrinking. Oh, it's right here. How about that? It's 40 count Rusty Nail from Kitten Stitcher. I think I mix up this one and Pandemic Sampler. One's on Rusty Nail, one's on Shrinking Violet. This one's on 40 count Rusty Nail from Kitten Stitcher. So I should probably take it off this. I'm going to take it off this Q-snap, because I don't know when the next time I'll reach for it is. Watch me now spin it. Watch me roll it on Monopoly like today now, right? Yeah, I have just a little more that was hidden under the Q-snap, but not much. I'm persevering. I'm pushing through. I do not know, again, like I said, I don't know why I don't reach for this, but I don't reach for this. It's going to fit on half of this fabric, so I'll still have the other half left. But I don't know. Does anybody, let me know down below in the comments, do you have whips like that where you're like, why am I not reaching for this? But I'm just not. I have quite a few whips like that. But then when I get them out and start working on them, I like them just fine. It's not like I don't like them. I don't know. Somebody psychologize me. All right. Next up is, I worked on 12 Days of the Resistance. This one has been a minute since I had this one out. So this is from Forbidden Fiber Co. and it was a Tiny Presents advent calendar in 2022. So Leanna Forbidden Fiber Co., she put this whole thing together. It's fabric, flosses, patterns. She dyed the bag. There's a zipper pull. It was the whole 9 yards. And I had 1 and 2 done previously. So that's 1, 2, and then I worked on 3. So 3 is called the Galactic Republic. And the colors are Saw Gerrera, the dark color, and Senator Mon Mothma, the light color. And I rolled this for Monopoly, of course. And the fabric is, I don't remember what the fabric is. Does it say on here? Oh, Sandstorm. So this is a 25 count Sandstorm. This is a big piece of fabric. I'm stitching these 2 over 2 on 25. So these are big. They're like medallions. And my plan for these, so you can't really see, but this, all the black is done and I'm just filling it in. The black is called, the colorway is Saw Gerrera, and the fill in, the white is Mon Mothma. So I'm just filling it in now. I still have a little bit more to fill in. There are, I think, 12 of these, 13, because when I opened the colorway called Admiral Akbar, I said, oh, I hope the pattern is, it's a trap. And it wasn't. So then Leanne put out a new color, this Admiral Akbar. I said, I hope the pattern is, it's a trap. And it wasn't. So she put out a bonus 13th pattern that says it's a trap. But these are the colors. And they're all named after Star Wars, people in the Star Wars universe. So, and a lot of the people in the Star Wars universe, I didn't even know. So I'm getting better at them now that I'm watching the other. But Senator Mon Mothma, Nien Numb, and I still don't remember who that is, Luke Skywalker, Senator Bail Organa, Canon Jarrus, don't know who that is, Ashoka Tano, of course, Ashoka. This is General Leia Organa, General Jan Dordona, don't know, Commander Jun Sato, don't know, Jin Urso from Rogue One, Saw Gerrera, and Admiral Akbar. So there's all kinds of patterns in here. There's like the symbols of the resistance and whatnot. There's, she gave us floss drops. I can go through. So there's a porg. There's C-3PO. I really do want to finish all these. I'm counting this as one whip. There's an Ewok. I love the Ewoks. And this pattern, this is now available, this Master Yoda. This came like this because every day, like you can see, Master Yoda was day 9. So every day came with a pattern and a floss, but it's now all available as one pattern. BB-8, it's now all available as one pattern on Leanne's Forbidden Fiber Co. website. R2-D2. Lightsabers. We got Kylo on there. I love Kylo Ren. The Jedi Order symbol. Oops. The Jedi Order symbol. I don't think you can stitch from that. But sorry, Leanne. And then Star Wars. And then the one I'm working on right now, the Galactic Republic. I don't know where It's a Trap is. I think that came in my email. But I thought that was so cool that Leanne was like, here you go. And everything lives. Oh, and it came with a needle minder, Han Solo, and Carbonite. Which is also my yoga mat, if anyone's interested. Okay, so I stitched on that. What's next? I stitched on my own spot sampler. This was also a Monopoly roll. So if you're not familiar, I've been working on, it's called My Own Spot Sampler, because I think we all have those patterns in our stash that you don't really want to stitch the whole pattern, but you love the pattern, and maybe there's like one motif or one thing that you love about the pattern. So here is My Own Spot Sampler so far. I have motifs from, this is a Blackbird Designs, This is off of a Rosewood Manor. This is, I don't even know, but it's so funky and I love it. This one was the hedgehog off of something called the Hedgehog Sampler. This is from the Laurel Witch off of one of her samplers. And then this is the latest one that I put in. It is that house right there from Homespun Elegance. It's called Home is Where You Hang Your Needlework. So I didn't want to stitch the whole thing, although it is really cute. So I just stitched the house and I put it on my sampler. And my new plan is, because I stitched this plant and then I stitched this and then I stitched this, and I realized that these two have a lot of very similar colors. So my new plan is, as this grows, and this is 40 count buttercream linen from Lakeside Linens. My new plan is, as this grows, I'll take a color from the latest motif that I stitched and I'll pull it into the next motif. And I'm going to kind of build it out like this. So this house has 3379 in it. And I used 3379 instead of the called for floss for the door and the roof line. And then this house I did in one of this month's Stitchy Box silks for my Silk of the Month Club. This is called Blood Puddle. And I used it for this house. And so next I will use Blood Puddle for this little fox that I'm going to stitch. So this is Barbara Anna Forest Queen. I'm going to pull this little fox out of Forest Queen. And so I will use Blood Puddle to stitch that fox. And I'll put it probably down here. So it's like building off of that. And then whatever I stitch next, I'll pull a color out of the fox and put it probably over here. And then I'll go up there and then I'll go down here. So I'm just going to try to build out and make the colors like join up. Although that little fox has the same color dress. Like, see that little fox? It has like a blue dress, probably like 503 or something like that, 502. There's a lot of that over here. So maybe I'll put the fox over here so that this blue and this red tie over here. I think I'll probably do that. So I'm using some called for, some uncalled for, all of the above. This is going to be really chaotic and really fun when I'm finished with it. When will I be finished with it? No goals, no timeline. Absolutely not. I do think I might want to stitch Forest Queen eventually, but I have so many good things to stitch that this is a really good way to, like, you know, stitch them without stitching them, if that makes sense. And then this will be my giveaway this week. I didn't do that with the highlighter, somebody else did, but this will be my giveaway. So I'll link a Google form down below, and if you want to stitch this in full or in part, fill out the Google form, and I will send it to you. It does have charms on it. I don't have the charms. I just have the chart. So fill out the Google form and let me know in the comments down below, would you stitch this in full? Would you stitch it in part? How would you do it? But there it is. I also swear I'm going to ship stuff today or tomorrow. Or potentially Tuesday. I've become a degenerate of a shipper. All right. Also, for cross-stitching Monopoly, I have been working on my 2020 pandemic sampler, and I have to show you this because I haven't shown this in a really long time. This is a tote bag that was made for me by Jolynn at Acorns and Threads. She finished my quotes to live by as a tote bag. This is a super old chart. I don't even know when I stitched this. It was probably pre-Panini that I stitched this quotes to live by. I think it's by Stitch Rovia. I did change one of the quotes. Somebody rang our doorbell. I did change one of the quotes. And I don't know. It might have been this one. Love is the bridge between you and everything. Because there was a quote on here by Coco Chanel. And I just do not stitch quotes by Nazis. I don't. So I think I had a quote. I don't know. Anyway, check the tote bag. right? And so I keep, in this tote bag, I keep 2020 Pandemic Sampler because she just lives on the Q-snap. There's a person in my house. Oh, it was one of our neighbors. Okay. 2020 Pandemic Sampler. This is on 40 Count Shrinking Violet from Kitten Stitcher. And this is by Sarsty Girl. I feel like I am so close to finishing this, but I'm not. I put in well over 1,000 stitches on this last weekend and got most of this bottom portion done here. The reason I'm not actually as close to finishing this as I think I am is because this house has a twin over here. So I gotta stitch that house again. So my plan now moving forward, I am mostly trying to finish this by section. So this bottom corner here is section 8. It is section 1, 2, 3. So 1 and 2 are done. 3 is left to do. 4 is done. 5 is left to do. And then 6, 7, and 8 is almost finished. What I will do moving forward is this house over here is stitched in this color. I will stitch 1 strand of something here, 1 strand of white for the house. 1 strand of something, 1 strand of white. And that's really my trick. If I have a large area to stitch, my trick for getting a large area stitched without burning out is to go 1 strand, 1 strand. So like if I'm working on a big border, I'll go like 1 strand of green in the border. And this border is not so bad because I actually love stitching this border, but I'll go like 1 strand of green, 1 strand of dark, 1 strand of light, 1 strand of green. So because I have so much house to stitch, if I try to stitch it all at once, I'll quit. I don't like stitching a lot at once of the same color, as meditative as it can be. So there's a lot of colors left here. So I'll do 1 strand of color, 1 strand of house, 1 strand of color, 1 strand of house. And then by the time I'm done this corner, the house will be a couple rows built, right? And then I'll bring this border up and I'll do 1 strand of border, 1 strand of house, 1 strand of border, 1 strand of house. And then hopefully, maybe I will finish in this top corner. If not, that house. I won't leave the house till last. There's another person that stands over here. I would like to leave her till last so that I don't have to finish this thing on the house. But that's my plan. And I would like to finish this year. If I finish this and 1 more whip this year, then I've met my goal for Year of Whips, which is Melanie Watkins of Soulful Stitching's challenge. And this is now currently my oldest whip, stitching or non-stitching. I started this on March 3rd, I think, 2020. So 2021. So I would like to finish her before March so that she doesn't turn 5 years old. And then so far I've put in like 40 stitching days, only like 43 stitching days, only 13 hours, but that's not accurate because this whip predates my Notion. Oh, here you go. There's the white house. So it's red house, white door that I have stitched, and I just still have to stitch white house, red door. The flosses I'm using on that are actually Mrs. Sadis silks, so it's called for in DMC, but Mrs. Sadis, who is a silk designer in Spain, did a silk pack for that. And then my last stitching whip that I've been working on is the one that I'm currently working on, and the one that I'll go back to today after filming. This is Namarie Tapestry, and this is from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. Here it is. Namarie Tapestry. I started this with a bunch of friends who have already made it to Mordor and back. Many of them have finished this. It's gorgeous. I was originally going to do this in 2 colors. I have since amended my colorway after seeing my friend Megan finish hers. Gorgeous. So I'm using, this is a 36 count linen from Jessie at Mislaid Pages, and I think it's called Red Tail. I don't think it's called Red Tail. I always want to call it Red-Tailed Hawk, but it's called Red Tail. It's the hawk. I'm using DMC 3371. I'm using this, the baubles and the swan eyes and the letters are Treenway silks. I think it's called Munsford Wood. I'd have to look it up. And then this off-white is a Threadworks. And what I've decided to do with this is make it a memorial sampler for my uncle. So I nestled his initials there in the tree. And I'm going to keep it really subtle. So I'll stitch the rest of the inside of this tree around his initials. But this way they're just like glowing and living inside the tree. The way that I'm trying to do this is page by page. So I didn't finish this page because I didn't decide to go page by page until after I was stitching on the middle. But I'm stitching this center section right here, and the page goes to about here. So I just have to take the rest of this all the way up, and this will be a page finish down here. So I really would like to finish this year. This one does not predate Notion, and Jacob gave us the full stitch count for this, so I can tell you that I am 25.6% done with this. So I've spent about 24 hours on it, so I have another, oh dear God. I've spent about 24 hours on this and 15 minutes, and if I'm 24 hours in and 25% done, then I probably have about another 70 hours to stitch on this. 72 hours. I'm still going to try to finish it by the end of the year. I'm still. Because I decided I won my Monopoly board again. Accidentally. And I decided on my new Monopoly board for Stitching Monopoly, which is the brainchild of Sammy J Stitches. Sammy J and some other wonderful hosts run a Discord channel where Stitching Monopoly runs. The idea is you roll dice, you move around the board, you buy properties, you pay rent. It's all done with stitches, right? Ideally, to play the game, you need a list of 22 whips. There has to be more than one whip, but it doesn't have to be more than 2 whips. So I joined a new Monopoly board, and for my newest Monopoly board, I only have 2 whips. If I land on a space with an even number, I'm stitching on Namarie. If I land on a space with an odd number, I'm stitching on 2020 Pandemic. And that's how I'm going to try to focus on those 2 for the rest of the year to get them done. That means probably everything else will get neglected. But if that works, then I'll just keep subbing in a new whip. Because every time you finish something for Monopoly, I'll just keep subbing in something else until I get cracking on some of these big whips. Because I really do have a lot of big whips that I've just been avoiding. So my last whip is not a stitching whip, it's a knitting whip. And it is in this bag made by one of my friends. I don't rightly remember. Oh, wait, let me tell you who made this bag. I like to keep the receipts inside the bag sometimes because it lets me remember who made it. This is my friend Jen. Yes, my friend Jen made this bag. Spectacular Yarns. And I love it. It's all kind of Day of the Dead, but they're stamps. Love it. Oh, I could have looked right here. It has a tag. Spectacular Yarns. This is my Memories of Juno shawl. I'm also calling it my sports ball shawl because, like I said, I take it everywhere that Rosie's playing sports ball and I knit on it. So my friend Steph and I are knitting on this. We bought the yarns together in a shop in Juneau, and these yarns are... It's one of a kind bundle in Juneau, Alaska. It's a mini skein set. We bought it at Changing Tides. changingtidesalaska.com. They were really nice in that shop. And I did something a little extra with mine. I added some colors. So here is my shawl thus far. It's super simple, right? It's just going to be a super simple shawl. The pattern basically says just knit and then throw in a row of yarn overs whenever you feel it. So this teal came with the mini skein set. This really pretty dappled color that I did next that feels like it should be in the set because it marries everything together is left over from my Dakir shawl. This brown came in the set. I think this light pink came in the set. I think it did because it has some of this brown in the dapple. And then now I just added this black, gray that came with the set. And then I have 3 more colors. This one was definitely part of my Dakir shawl. This one definitely came with the... I actually don't know anymore what came with the yarn set and what didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this one came with the yarn mini skein set, and the last 2 were with the Dakir shawl. But like, if you look, these are perfect because if I go like this, it makes total sense, right? So I think after, I have it all planned out. I have it all planned out what order these are going to go in. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you. Memories of Juno. So here's my order. So you can see I did the light blue, and then I did the mottled, brown, pink, black, dark pink, and the dark pink even has some like tealish models in it. So I'll go dark pink, teal, multicolor, or do you think I should go this way? I think maybe I should go this way. Like to fade it in between. And then both ends are teal. One end is a dark teal and one end is a light teal. I think I'm going to switch those. But I love knitting on this. And it's actually really kind of difficult for me not to pick this up today and knit on it. I will probably finish this row that I cast on because I don't really like, I do not like leaving something in the middle like that. But it doesn't really, so the pattern doesn't really tell us where to put the rows of yarn overs. So I just kind of threw them in randomly. And I like more yarn overs than less yarn overs. So in the bottom part of the shawl, in the teal, I just threw them in randomly and I got 3 in. But then I started doing like on either side. So I have on either side of this change, I have yarn overs, yarn overs. And I have yarn overs, yarn overs, yarn overs, yarn overs. And as my shawl gets longer and my sections get shorter, right? Because it's about the same amount of yarn for each section. So the sections, as they get longer, will get skinnier. The yarn overs will come more often. So then I'll have to decide, do I really want to do one every time? Or do I want to be a little bit more, like, sparing? Because I don't want the whole thing to be, I don't want it to be a lace shawl. And I don't want it to have so many that doesn't make sense. So we'll see. That'll be a bridge that I cross when I come to it. One thing about working out now is I stay much more hydrated because I'm thirsty all the time. Okay, so that is all of my whips. Whew, that was a lot. My plans, I'm going to keep working on my sports ball shawl because the sports ball never ends. And I'm going to work on my Namarie. I have 500 stitches to finish, about 240 something more stitches on this to finish my current roll in Monopoly. And then because I have PTO this week, I rolled doubles. So I'm going to go ahead and take my next roll and I'll roll for this board again. But I'm also coming up for my other board. So a little bit of stitching Monopoly this week, a little bit of sports ball shawl. Also, let me show you my happy mail, and then we'll get into things that you need to know. So you already saw one of these. This is my Stitchy Box flower silk, and you already saw one of these. It was blood puddle that I used. I try not to bust into these until I show you, but this color was just too good to not use right away. So it was blood puddle, and then these 3 others were the September Stitchy Box Silk of the Month. So Stitchy Box Silk of the Month, you get 4 colors every month, and then every once in a while you get a bonus. So this was blood puddle. I used that already, and we'll continue. This is mulberry, like a dark maroony red. This is Tiger Lily. I already have some of this in my stash and I love it. And this is Honeycomb, which is like the perfect. So I did have this color picked out. This is Crown Imperial. I had that color picked out to do my house in, but Blood Puddle was just too good. So I'll put those away. Love me some Stitchy Box Silks. If you haven't tried Stitchy Box Silks, please, please, please try Stitchy Box Silks. That was my only happy mail. I have a couple of things that I think you really need to know about. One of them is really fun and happy, and one of them is not so fun and happy. So we'll start with fun and happy, and then you can peace out if you don't want to hear about the not so fun and happy. My friend Amanda, who is Bad Stitched on Instagram, she masterminds the Spellbound Stitches bookmark book every year. And this year, again, there are 30 designs. You can get all 30 of the designs. It comes in a big giant PDF of a book. You can get all 30 of the designs between November 7th, which was last Friday, and November 23rd, which is a 3-week window to get them all, right? And the way you do it is you donate $15 to one of these 5 orgs that are listed here. It's Doctors Without Borders, PAL Humanity, the ACLU, Border Angels, and the Canadian Immigrant Women's Foundation. You don't have to donate to all of them. Pick one, donate $15 or the equivalent, and this bookmark collection will be sent to you. 30 designers designing on the themes of classic literature, fantasy, historical fiction, history, hobby, horror, mystery, mythology, romance, science, and science fiction. So many bookmarks. There's our orgs. There's the genres. There's all the designers, 30 of them. And there's designers in here that I haven't really been exposed to before that I cannot wait to see more of. This is how you do it. I'll link to this. And these are all the bookmarks. So let me switch to a place where I can show you differently so you can see bigger. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but each one of them has a page like this. So classic literature, 3 designs. Maybe I will go through all of them. This is a fantasy bookmark designed by Haunted Frames. Arcadia of Sorrows did a fantasy. Stitch on Good Luck, fantasy. And remember, you get all of these, and you get it for about 50 cents a piece, right? $15, 30 bookmarks. The designer of this is called Bog Dragon Crafts, which I need to learn more about because I love their stuff. This is by Loom Bug. The designer is Loom Bug, which I also need to know more about because would you look at that? Puri Antoinette, Queen of Pastries. Get it? And this is by Needle Lot Designs. We know Needle Lot Designs. Those are the historical fiction bookmarks. And then we have history. This is Stiach, like the Stiach along. Studio in Situ. And excuse me if I'm saying any of these things wrong. Those are the bookmark chapter. And then for hobby, we have Nathnolu and Noctiflora. This one is so clever with the Venus flytrap and the fly. Plant Mom. So clever. That's the hobby section. Horror. We have Black Waltz Stitching contributing, along with Stitch Sprout and the Gloomy Gremlin. That's your horror chapter. They limited us to 3 per. Mystery, we have Darling and Whimsy. And Uncanny Kari. Kari did like one of those corner bookmarks. Love that. Those 2 contributed to mystery. Mythology, Flossie Fox did Freya. Una Buena Piezza did Penelope's Loom. I cannot wait to stitch that one. I think that is genius. Those are mythology. Romance was Quaternion Creations. Samantha Lane Textiles. And 2 Little Kits. And then science. Boomerang Stitches designed a cicada 2 ways. It's called Cicada Season, but I like to call it Cicada 2 ways. And then Mathy Sphere did this amazing anatomical hands. Like this, the bone is great and the hand holding the needle is great, but this musculature here makes me want to cry. It's so good. And then Sprouting Lupine did this beautiful heron. Love that. Science fiction, we have Gunhild the Good, who used to be Bad Witch Crafts. Infinity Bear Designs gave us 2 bookmarks, and the Retro Stitcher gave us another. And Yellow Birdie Stitches. I guess 4 people got into that one. 4 for science fiction. So that's it. That's all 30. You've seen them all. You make a donation of $15 or more to any one of those charities. Follow the instructions. I will make sure that you have a link. I'm copying that right now. I will make sure that you have a link, and then you can go donate and get your 30 bookmarks. Stitch them all, stitch none of them, stitch one of them. Doesn't even matter. And then the sad news. I don't know if you've heard, some of you, many of you probably have, but Sage, who is the designer of Night Spirit Studio, she did pass away recently. She, trigger warning, of course, she had cancer. and went through treatments for about 5 years. Decided recently that she was no longer interested in pursuing treatment. Did get onto hospice. These are details that her family and loved ones have shared. Did get onto hospice and did pass away peacefully on her own terms in her own home. So, losing Sage is quite a loss for the community. Her partner put out a very touching post. It's here if you want to read it. About how they will try to continue to operate the business. The charts will still be available. I don't know what's going to happen to the Patreon because Sage isn't here to make more content anymore, but all the charts that exist will be available still. If you are looking for something new to purchase or wanting to support in any way, I will put a link to Sage's shop, Night Spirit Studio. Not sure about the physical items right now. I would definitely recommend sticking to PDFs if you purchase things. But, just so if you didn't know, now you know. And if you want to stitch your feelings, I often like to stitch my feelings. If you feel the need to stitch your feelings or want to stitch your feelings, there's a lot of stitch-alongs for Sage going on right now on the interwebs. I'm sure you can find one. If not, make one, or just stitch and think about Sage and mortality and everything she gave the community, all the beautiful designs. She was also a really nice human and very generous with her time and expertise. So, we will miss Sage. I didn't know her very well personally, but I have good friends who were good friends with her. So I'm a friend once removed enough to feel badly that she's not with us anymore. So that's all the stitching that I have with Sage. It was a bit of a glum note to end on. But I will say that the community is good and the community is already doing things to uplift Sage's partner and help them out. So if you think that you want to buy one, go ahead and do it. And I'm not going to put a cut in here because I don't really want to edit this. So I'm just going to say if you're only here for the stitching, then we're POW stitching now. I'm going to talk about my tarot card. You have like T-minus 15 seconds, if that offends you, to get out of town. But if it doesn't, then I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I drew from my trading deck. I have not drawn a tarot card in a month and 2 days. But today I drew from my trading deck and I got the Emperor. And this card is from the Tattoo Tarot. And it was traded to me from Joe King on August 20th, 2023. If you have a tarot deck and you're interested in trading, hit me up in the comments down below and I will draw. My base deck is the Prisma Visions Tarot. And I will draw you a card of my Prisma Visions deck and I'll send it to you and you send it to me yours and we'll trade. And then I'll write my information on the back and either you write yours or I write yours, doesn't matter. But this card is all about being decisive, making a decision, making a move. It's usually a power move, right? It's a really strong, like, I decided and I went for it kind of thing and no regrets. And this is actually really appropriate for today because we switched Rosie's volleyball clubs today. And it was nothing bad about the old club. This new club was just a better fit. And it was a hard decision, right? Because there's that loyalty and there's the time put in. It was only a year. There was that time put in. I've also worked 4 football games and earned quite a bit of money for the club. So that was hard to walk away from too. But this new club is going to be excellent for her. I just have a really good feeling about it. She's feeling really good and relieved and in a happy place about it. And so now we're all just chilling. And it was that Emperor energy that I was the one to say, okay, we've talked about it. We're doing this. It's the move. We're making it. And I drew the card afterwards. So who knew? So the Emperor, and I'm going to try to get back into drawing cards. We'll see. I'm continually rebalancing, right? Always rebalancing life and everything. So if you're not reevaluating what you're doing, then what are you doing? Right? Or is that just me? Also, if you don't have one of these, I recommend these punch holes. It's a hole punch, right? And I have been fighting with these tiny little holes forever. And now I just pop that in there. One more tiny little hole. It's so much nicer. I don't know why I wasn't doing that ages ago. 2022 Michelle would go back and repunch. Why is this falling out? Anyway, 2022 Michelle will go back and repunch all of these. 2025 Michelle doesn't have time for that shenanigans. So I will just punch these as I need to. Just be careful you don't punch too close to the edge because I punched one like halfway and that was disappointing. I was very disappointed in myself for that. So, all right. That's all I got for today. I'm really glad I made the video. I'm really glad I visited with you. Also, these make really good bingo markers if you need to supply your own bingo markers. I'm really glad I visited with you. I'm glad we took the time. I've missed you all. I would like to say I'll be back on my 2-week schedule, but I don't freaking know what I'm going to do. I probably will be back on my 2-week schedule because Rosie has a basketball tournament next weekend, and that's her last one, which is kind of weird. But we'll see how it goes. She might join another basketball. She might like re-up her basketball team for the winter season, in which case we'll be right back at it. But who knows? Not me. We will plan tentatively to be back on 11/29. That's Thanksgiving weekend. I don't care. We'll tentatively plan to be back on 11/29. And we'll just see what happens. Because, I don't know. That's 2 whole weeks away. Who knows what could happen in 2 weeks. But I appreciate you hanging out. I'm glad you were here. I'm going to clean up, do the tiniest bit of editing, and then go stitch. I don't think I forgot anything. But if I did, I'll talk about it next time. Again, thank you for hanging out. Y'all are the best. I know I've been sporadic, but hopefully you've had a chance to watch a lot of other good Flosstubes because they're out there. There's a ton of them. I'm so bad at goodbyes. I'll see you later.